Yo, 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 what is going on? It is the Fantasy Football Show here today. We got the one and the only Marcas Grant in the building, holding it down with us here today with my brother from another mother, Nick Wilcox. Yo, 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 what's going on, fellas?
What up?
Good to be here, man. It's good to see y'all. See y'all again. I didn't get to. I know you weren't in Canton, Johnny. I got to talk to Nick a little bit, but it's good to see you guys.
Yeah, man. Definitely. Great to have you on for sure, man. Before we get rolling here, we got a special little segment here we got to do here. So we have a special guest to pop up. We have a birthday girl. Yeah. Yeah, so today is Anaya's 10th birthday. We went and seen some WWE over the weekend. Got Trick Williams autograph, got Cody Rhodes autograph. It was fire. So everybody just take a second to say happy birthday to Anaya.
Happy birthday.
Oh, all right. So now it's time for grown folks' business.
Bye-bye.
All right. Oh, man. All right. So, yeah, Marcus, man, definitely pleasure to have you on, brother, for sure. We know want to respect your time, man. So we'll get right into it, man, for sure. So, first question we got for you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So far, draft season is approaching. It's right now. It's the heat of the season. Tell us about two players that you can't stop drafting.
So I'll say this. One of them originally was Colston Loveland. Like, I was early on the he's my tight end 3, and a lot of people were like, I don't know about that. I was like, no, I am in for him at tight end 3. And so early on, he was that dude that I couldn't stop drafting. And then everybody else started to clue in, and it got harder for me to get Colston Loveland. So since then, I've actually made the pivot to Harold Fannin Jr. And look, I get it. I know Cleveland's got all sort of quarterback issues. I know it's a problem. But I think especially in the early part of the season, until they figure out what's going on with the wide receivers, I think you're going to see Harold Fannin as the dude who gets a ton of targets. I think he's the guy that has been there. He knows the system. I think there's a comfort level with him. So I think in the early half of the season, at least, I think you can really count on Fannin. And I think the good thing about it is where you're drafting him, you're probably taking another tight end anyway. So, you can sort of, lean on him in the early part of the season. Hopefully whoever you draft for the back half of the season starts to pick things up. So then you have another option. But even if it doesn't, you can just stream tight ends until you figure something out. So he's one. The other one for me, and this has been from the jump, has been Jadarian Price. And that's just because, look, the Seahawks made a choice, right? They let the Super Bowl MVP walk. And they did that knowing that Zach Charbonnet was probably not going to be available at the start of the season, right? Suffers a major injury late in the year, so you don't have Kenneth Walker III. Zach Charbonnet is coming off a major injury. It's not like they're not going to run the ball. They're going to run the football. So that means Jadarian Price is going to have an opportunity to get some touches, get some carries. And when Charbonnet is there and back and kind of up to full speed again, hopefully by then Price has sort of carved out a role for himself in this offense, so they can't really go away from him. And for the most part, the ADP is still pretty nice on a guy like him. So he's one I've really been taking a lot of shots at. Again, he's another one that I think a lot of folks have clued into. So it's getting a little bit harder, but still, whenever I have a chance to get Jadarian Price, I'm making the move.
Okay, man, those are two names we have not heard yet on this show like that in that space. So I love hearing that, man. You got anything else with that, Nick, or what?
I think the price situation, I think that's something that I think early in the offseason was definitely a misprice in general because of what Marcus did just say in terms of hey, they let the Super Bowl MVP go. It's just the rookie class has been it just hasn't been as exciting for the hype up. Let's just say that. Now, how they'll perform is another story. But I do think Price right now, he's my RB 26 right now. Because he's pretty much locked into a role early on, at least in the season. So now it's more about what can he showcase the talent that we think he has in a situation where Sharps probably won't be there for the first couple weeks of the season. So now we're looking at a situation where we have a potential stud running back, and we're getting him at the late 5th, potentially early 6th. In sharper leagues, you're probably getting him early 5th. The Colston Loveland, it's more one of those things where you're drafting him late 4th, early 5th, around the Tyler Warren range, potentially a little earlier for Loveland. But I do think I agree with that. it's just hard to grab Loveland because of the players that go around him, right? It's like you got high-end wide receiver twos potentially still going around him. So it depends on roster construction, what you want to do with that. So it's like our opinion. It's like McBride and Bowers, and it's like kind of like the rest. So it's kind of a bit difficult to grab Loveland, but
Yeah, he was talking about Fannin and like Fannin being like a guy like later on, like actually, like I'm one that like I don't necessarily like to always go to players on bad offenses, like as you
right.
mentioned, pass catchers. But I mean, KC Concepcion, man, week 1 preseason, he looked kind of fast out there, so it kind of made me not change my mind, but gave me something to think about. Anyway, and obviously seeing the way Deshaun Watson looked out there too. Might be an opportunity for Harold Fannin from a value perspective because, obviously he had a really solid season last year. And now, like, you're getting him kind of at a discount right around like that Tucker Craft, Dalton Kincaid space right there where, like, you got a couple guys that got a little bit of injury history. Obviously, he got hurt at the end of the year last year going against the Steelers, but had a big season. So, yeah, man, I don't hate that at all, Marcus, for sure. For sure. We got one of my boys popping in the chat here. How about the Cowboys? Oh man,
This is death taxes and Cowboy fans getting antsy in August, man. Like,
yeah. I mean, they don't on paper they don't look bad, but like, how many times have we seen this song and dance?
I mean, I think they'll be. Look, I don't think their defense will be as bad as it was,
right?
Like and the offense is fine. Look, there's a lot of parts of the offense that you like, right? I mean, Dak is still going to be productive. You got 2 top level wide receivers in CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. I was happy to see Javonte Williams finally have the season that he did last year because I was a Javonte Williams fan going back to North Carolina.
Yes,
and it never quite worked out in Denver the way I wanted it to. So it was good to see him finally do that. So there's some things to be excited about. I mean, I think the problem for them is the NFC overall is just stacked. I mean, you got to deal in division. You got to deal with the Eagles. I don't really know what to make of the Commanders necessarily. I mean, I think the Giants still have some work to do, but rest of the NFC, you got the Packers to deal with. You will see what the Lions and Bears can do this year. And then you have, 3/4 of the NFC West that are going to be a problem, right? I mean, you got you got the defending Super Bowl champs. You got the Rams, who are everybody's favorite right now to win the Super Bowl at this point in the season. The 49ers, who could be a playoff team if the substation doesn't kill them all first. I mean, who knows?
Talk about it.
So, I mean, it's just the NFC right now is just stacked top to bottom.
Oh, man. I love it, dude. I love it. All right. So 3 players you think will underperform in the current ADP?
I haven't understood the Jeremiah Love hype. Let me rephrase that. I understand the hype, right?
Yeah.
Like, I watched the dude play in college. Like, I watched him run up and down the field on my USC Trojans. So, like, I understand that part of it. But I feel like maybe it's not quite Ashton Genty all over again, but it feels a little bit like what we did with Ashton Genty last year, where everybody looked at Genty's college tape and he was undeniably talented and he put up all sorts of bananas numbers at Boise State. And then he got to the Raiders, and the best thing I heard about the Raiders offensive line last year, somebody was like, the Raiders offensive line was sort of like the tape you run through at the end of a marathon. Like, that's pretty much how well they blocked anybody last year. And because of that, you had Ashton Genty with like the fewest yards before contact of any qualifying running back. So I think you're going to have a situation like that with Love in Arizona. They're going to be a bad team. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot in the second half because they're going to be playing from behind. What makes it even worse, though, than with Genty is there's actual competition there. Ashton Genty didn't really have any competition for touches. Now the Cardinals, they brought in Tyler Algier, and anybody who had Bijan Robinson in the last couple of years can tell you how frustrating that was. And at least, as of this moment, as we're sitting here talking, James Conner is still on the roster, and I get it. He's an older player. He's had injury situations, but when he's healthy, he's been productive. And so I just don't see them, if they go into week 1 with James Conner, I just don't see them just kicking him to the curb altogether. So there's the potential for 3 guys to be getting opportunities there. I want no parts of Jeremiah Love. One that has worried me lately is Omarion Hampton, and I was drafting him quite a bit, and then Mike McDaniel comes out last week and is just like, "We're gonna ride the hot hand," and I'm like, "You couldn't have said anything worse in my mind.
Right.
Like that is the worst thing you could have said about it. And like I like Hampton, but if it really is a situation where they're going to use multiple backs and they're going to ride the hot hand, then I do get worried about, where you have to draft a guy like Hampton. And if he's not going to get those kind of touches, if he's not going to get, 250, 260 touches because they're going to spread it around to some other guys, that makes me a little bit worried about him. So for the last week or so, I've kind of backed off of Hampton a little bit. The other one, and I've said this from the jump, and I'm not backing off of it. I want zero parts of Jackson Dart. I do not want. Not want. I don't.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And everybody's like, well, he's going to run. I'm like, he's going to run, and he plays quarterback like a crash test dummy, and that's not great.
No.
Right? Like, I'll say this. He and Cam Scatterbo are perfectly paired, right? Because they're like the same dude. And like realistically, I mean, in terms of real football, like I wouldn't be surprised if both of them are out of the league in 5 years just because of the way they play. And I just don't want, I can't deal with that at quarterback. And people are like, well, you draft him and you draft somebody else. I'm like, well, I'll just draft two somebody else's. Like, I don't want that headache. And then, just because I was already worried about it, and I'm sure you guys saw, like, early in the game yesterday, he gets absolutely rocked. Has to go to the blue tent, comes back a little bit later. I can't. I will let him be somebody else's headache. There are a handful of guys around for fantasy that were like, if they go off and I'm wrong, I'll gladly take the L. Jackson Dart, I will gladly take the L if he proves me wrong, but I'm just not counting on it.
Man, listen, Jackson Dart, like we've this is like almost the third week in a row that like he's actually got bought up, and like it's been the same thing. It was Nick and I at first, and then last week the same thing with Rich. We were talking about him a little bit, so I agree with you with him for sure. Omarion Hampton, like we were both in on him early on for sure. Yeah. Well, are you still like Mike McDaniel's even going back, like saying like a very similar thing, like with Devon Achane back in Miami? You got any of those type of vibes, or are you still just kind of like backing off of it a little bit?
I mean, I think I'm backing off of it a little bit just because I think it's a different situation where in Miami, at some point, Achane was kind of all they had after a while, and so like he was going to get a ton of touches because, like Tua either was hurt or when he was healthy, you couldn't really trust him. Once they lost Tyreek Hill, it just didn't look like Jalen Waddle could carry that load as a wide receiver one in that offense. I know, they sort of made Darren Waller kind of an interesting little thing for a couple of weeks. He was a nice red zone threat, would score touchdowns. But in terms of just actually moving the ball up and down the field, all they had was Achane. And so that's why he got all that opportunity. With the Chargers, there's a lot of things they can do, right? Like, I mean, they can run the football. They got multiple guys there that can run the football. And you've got a quarterback. I mean, look, we can discuss whatever you think about Justin Herbert in terms of like real football and whether or not he's going to ever lead them to anything big down there in LA. But in terms of fantasy and what he can do and spreading the football around, whether it's Ladd McConkey, I know people are big on Quentin Johnston. They got Oronde Gadsden. They brought in David Njoku. There are pieces there. There are things that Mike McDaniel can do. So that makes me a little bit worried. If you have all these other pieces and you have a quarterback you can trust, and now you're talking about riding the hot hand in the backfield, it makes me worried. And it's like, it's not a talent thing. It's not about Omarion Hampton. It's just about what his potential usage could be this year.
Yeah, and Harbaugh too, man. Like he had a tendency for that even sometimes in Baltimore. Like, obviously outside of like the Derrick Henry situation, even if you go back a little bit further, he has had a tendency to play like multiple running backs. So I could see how, he could get there. I still love Omarion Hampton, I do, but I'm in the same space. I've kind of backed off a little bit as well. So that's pretty solid take.
I'm just not worried. I'm not worried about the situation until it actually starts showing itself. Like, are we still grabbing Hampton first round? Probably not. Like, early second round is obviously where I would want him anyway. So if I'm still getting him at that same price, yeah. If people are going to be a little, lukewarm on him, I'd just rather just take him knowing that I have a solid running back, even two, in the offense that we know wants to go gangbusters offensively. The offensive line's getting healthier, especially at the bookends. So again, like, Keaton Mitchell is talented, don't get me wrong, but it's more like you still want these situations in general for a top back because the usage might suffer a little bit, but the efficiency and the overall ways that this offense can still score and Hampton can score, still think he's overall valued. And I'm really not trying to budge overall when it comes to where my stance is on him just yet.
I never understood the Omarion Hampton first round thing. Like, as much as I like him, like
Me neither.
that felt rich from the beginning to me.
Well, I think like, right, like obviously, like if you want to be like completely optimistic on it, right, like the change of obviously McDaniel being there, and now like you think about all the things that happened like in Miami with Achan, and again like the offensive line getting healthy, some questions like as far as like running backs, like when you get obviously like Christian McCaffrey, like we kind of know what that situation is. I don't know. I think like you could like if you really wanted to like shoot for the moon and plant your flag, like I could see how you could get there. But nah, I mean, like at this point, like if we're talking about like it's going to be a hot hand situation, like obviously him being like one of the first 8 picks off the board, no, like no way. But like if you're talking middle second round, something like that right there, yeah, like I can rock with that. But I was very high on him. I was very high on him last year. For sure. Like actually, like I took him represent you, man, in the fans classic. I took him then, man. So yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens, man, for sure. And Jeremiah Love, like I agree with you 1,000% on that. I think it is Ashton Genty all over again for sure. Like it's not a good offense. There's a crowded room there with Tyler Algier, James Conner, even like Trey Benson still hanging out there as well. So it's a very, very crowded backfield for sure. And then we don't know what to expect. Obviously, the Raiders played Ashton Genty coming down the stretch last year, even though they were in the business for a quarterback. So I just last year I got burned too bad, man, by rookie running back. So I think I'm gonna let everybody else, man, kind of deal with that for sure.
For sure.
All right.
Wendy's still so low.
Hey, what up, Wendy? So kind of switching gears a little bit here. In your opinion, what's changing about the fantasy space in the industry? Anything you can put your finger on?
Yeah, and like I don't want to sit here and be all doom and gloom about it, but I feel like there's a big change coming, and it's not necessarily for the positive. I think what happened is when 2020 hit and the pandemic hit, like 2020, 2021, we saw a huge explosion in terms of people getting into the industry. I mean, look, people were at home. They had extra time. Unfortunately, a lot of folks lost their jobs or weren't working full time. So you had a lot more time to do stuff. And I think we saw a lot of people get into the space, whether it's creating their own platforms, doing their own podcasts, whatever. And I think in a lot of ways it was good, right? Because we got a lot more voices in the space too. And I think in terms of just the diversity of thought and demographics and everything, that was really, really cool. The problem was it was always unsustainable in terms of just all the people that started to do it because there were just so many pods and there were so many platforms that really popped up. And I think, unfortunately, now that we're a few years out of the pandemic and everybody's coming back again, I think we're starting to see, unfortunately, kind of a retraction in this whole thing. Because I think you're seeing a lot of the big platforms not really investing in it the way that they did. I mean, look, I worked for NFL Network, right? They just got bought out by ESPN. ESPN has taken over that fantasy game. So that's one less really major platform. I think, you've seen kind of a split there at NBC. Now, even there, Matthew Berry's sort of backing away from what he's doing at NBC. He's kind of going more to his own thing over at Fantasy Life. I was joking with my friend Matt Harmon at Yahoo when I saw him in Canton. I said, man, what is it like working for the only major platform that seems to be really invested in fantasy right now, right? And that's kind of what it feels like. At the same time, I'm rooting for all these. I got a lot of friends like you guys, a lot of other people who are doing their own independent thing, and I'm certainly rooting for everybody. It's just hard to see that sort of, look, we're back in just to talk about real life. We're kind of in an economic space now where it's getting tough for people. And, a thing that's easy to cut out of the budget, unfortunately, is the subscription to whatever site that you're doing. Or whatever Patreon that's going on right now. So that's a tough thing. So I don't know what the answer is. Like there are people smarter than me who sort of study these sorts of trends and kind of figure out what's coming next. But I do think there is, unfortunately, a contraction coming kind of in this industry. I think there's going to be somebody out there who figures it out, right? Who figures out how to be ahead of the curve. I don't know if it's prediction markets. I don't know what it's going to be. But I think we are due, maybe even overdue, for kind of a reset in this thing. I'm curious to see kind of what it is. I do think there's a way to kind of keep this train rolling, keep the momentum going. But I don't think it's going to look in the next 5 years what it's looked like the past 5 years.
That's fair. That's fair. No, it like that's what it is, man. Is this is industry definitely is it feels very much like, hey, like staying ahead of the curve, being some kind of a trendsetter, doing something different. Like I know every time like we've ever talked to anybody, and asked for like any type of advice, like that was the thing, is like find something that like somebody else like isn't doing, right? And like now, like you mentioned, man, like there's a lot of different things, there's a lot of different avenues, there's like a lot of things going on. So yeah, man. No, I dig it for sure, for sure. All right, man. Kind of in the same space, right? For fantasy managers, right, or even content creators, whatever the case may be, or even just yourself, man. How do you manage like the work-life balance during the season?
I do try to make a point to at least have the evenings, where I come home, like I pick my son up from school or whatever activity, make dinner, at least try to do that till the evening. Until, there are a lot of nights I do have to do work, but I try to wait until after bedtime, for that sort of thing to happen. I in the off season, I'm definitely down to like jump on other people's podcasts and stuff.
Yeah,
I can't really do that as much in season because I gotta figure out my own stuff. I gotta do my own
yeah,
research, gotta do
right.
my own prep. So like, I'm not quite as out there during the regular season as I would be, in the spring and summer and that sort of thing. And it's just sort of understanding what you can do and what you can do effectively, and it's actually going to serve you well. I mean, I had years in the past where I was heavy into doing social content, like on top of, doing prep for shows and podcasts and stuff. And I was, do social media content, whether it was putting stuff on TikTok or trying to find, tweets and stuff to put out there. And after a while, I just got to a point where it's like, I'm doing this extra work and I'm kind of busting my butt for it. I'm not really seeing any benefit, and it doesn't necessarily serve me in any kind of way. And at some point, for me at least, it's just like, it's just not worth the effort that I'm putting in for it. And so that kind of told me like, okay, I can move on from that. And so it really is just about understanding, what it is you can do, whether or not you're getting some kind of return on that investment of time. Whether it's in terms of views, clicks, engagement, and if that is serving you, if it's serving you, then continue to do it. If you realize that it's not, what you're getting back from it is not worth the effort you're putting out, save that time, save that effort, man, and put it into something that's more worthwhile. Maybe it is another part of your work, maybe it is extra research time, maybe it is just spending time with your kids. Like whatever is going to serve your time is the thing that you should focus on, and the rest of it can all be there. The other part of this, and it's not an in-season thing, it's an off-season thing, but it is worth just taking some time off from
Yeah.
this. Like I see so many people who they go through the whole season, and then as soon as the season's done, they're immediately turning and grinding on whether it's dynasty content or getting ready for the combine or the draft or something like that. And I just tell everybody, like, it's worth sometimes just taking a week or two or maybe even more off, because like the combine's going to be there, the draft's going to
Mm,
be there, free agency is all
mhm.
it's all going to be there. Like if you just are grinding on this 12 months of the year, you're going to burn yourself out sooner than later.
Yeah, man. Actually, dude, I like NBA too, man. And actually this
Mhm.
year, actually, I just like took like after this season, this will be our going into our third year of like doing content like this. And after last year, after the Super Bowl ended, man, like I didn't do anything, man. I didn't do any NBA stuff. I didn't even actually place my first NBA bet, man, until like the actual NBA playoffs, bro.
Oh
So
wow.
like, yeah. So like I took the time, man, and it was definitely nice for sure, man. For sure, for sure.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I mean, it's more about like, yeah, like finding the pockets in the off season to, give yourself that overall room and growth. But also it's like, hey, you need to rest up. Like for me, like the season didn't really stop for me until about like after the fantasy basketball season. So I'm doing articles for fan tracks, like, doing guest spots on shows. So my stuff really don't stop until like probably like after the combine technically anyway. So it's like,
Yeah, but I think there's also something nice about even just shifting gears to a different sport, right? Because like this year, I did a fantasy baseball show for a couple of months, right? And it was nice to get back to it. I've been doing football for years now. I'm a baseball guy first and foremost. Like that is my first love when it comes to sports. But I had kind of gotten away from doing that. I've been at the NFL for. I just hit 15 years earlier this week. Thanks, thank you.
wow.
You know, it's like I hadn't really done any baseball stuff. Like I played fantasy baseball this year for the first time in probably over a decade. My team is mediocre. I want to say trash, but I've actually
mid,
right? Like they weren't playing well. I've actually pulled out a couple of the last couple of weeks, so like they're mid at best right now. It was the first time I played any fantasy baseball in a long time, so it was just kind of nice just to change gears a little bit. So even if it is just doing like basketball or something else, just to kind of get your mind on something different, I think it helps out a lot.
For sure. All right. You got this one, Nick?
Yep. So what adjustments should people make between playing with the industry players versus their home league upcoming?
I always tell people in the industry, play in more home leagues, play in leagues with civilians, man. Play in leagues with people who don't do this all the time, because like you remember what it's like to draft in the general public, because like this is how I always put it, right? Like if you are great at a particular video game, right? Like I'm a age myself here, right? But like if you are great at Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat,
okay.
if you're the world's greatest Street Fighter player, right? Like you're not as worried about the world's second greatest Street Fighter player, because you can sort of predict like what's coming and what moves they're going to use. And you can, you kind of protect yourself from that. The person who's going to give you problems is the button masher.
Yes.
They don't know how they shot that fireball, and you just got lit up, right? It's like that's what it's sort of like drafting against people who don't like, when you drafted against the industry, like, it's going to be heavy running back, wide receiver early. It's probably going to be like the first tight end in like the third or fourth round. That everybody's going to wait, who's going to blink first and draft that quarterback. Like, like that's how that's going to go. That if you somehow still play in a league with kickers and or defense, those aren't going to go till like the last two rounds. When you play in a home league or you play in a league with folks who are just casual, like you might have three quarterbacks gone by the end of the second round. Somebody's going to take a defense in round 9. There going to be three kickers off the board by round 10. And you forget that when you're in these industry leagues, and then suddenly like you get in a home league, and all of a sudden you're a little bit shook because you're like, like, hey man, I was going to wait till round 9 and grab Caleb Williams, but he's gone in the 5th. Like, wait, what?
Bro, talk about it. Talk about it.
But I think it's good because, like, I think one, it's fun because it sort of shakes things up, and like, I think I like the randomness of it. But I also think in terms of for us creating content, you got to remember that the majority of people you talk to and who are like listening and reading your content are probably some of those folks, and like you got to talk to those folks too and understand that, like, there's certainly a lot of people out there who are hardcore and they're pouring through stats or whatever and trying to win and on a higher level. There's a lot of people who, like, yards per route run doesn't mean anything. It means nothing to them. They're not really studying like efficiency and yards before contact and like, DVOAs and stuff like that. Like that means zero to them, but they are in a league with like their friends or family or coworkers, and they're not trying to look like jerks, like they just want to be competitive and that sort of thing. So I think that's sort of the big difference, is just understanding that, like, all the things you get used to in an industry league, all the things that you can sort of predict, a lot of those go out the window once you get into just a regular home league with people.
Oh my God, bro. I got a league that's just dead square like that, man. Like one of my boys at work, man, literally, I give him a hard time. I tell him the same thing to his face all the time. I'm like, bro, like, you don't know anything. Like, you are like literally but like, dude, he's like, but like, that's my boy though, man, right? It's my boy. And like, we always get to his house, man. Like, he does a good job, man. Like with the draft, man, he like has food. He's got a pool and everything. Man, the last 4 years, dude, this draft drives me insane because everything you just said, is the epitome of that happens in that game, bro. Literally, man. We got the chat buzzing here, man. What is this? We got Chuck Nasty 44. 12 team half point tight end premium has the 4 spot, has never played in one of these. Any tips?
Be prepared to get a tight end earlier. I mean, because I think I'm of the opinion, like I'm one of the people who will draft a tight end early. I will pay up for one. You know, that's why I love Colston Loveland. I don't mind a Tyler Warren. I'll say that like Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, the price is a little bit too steep for me. I can't quite do it. But I also I don't want to stream tight ends. And I mean, God bless you if that's how you want to live. I don't I just don't want to live that way, right? Because like I don't want to play the game of can this dude score a touchdown this week? Because that's kind of what it comes down to, right? Like I think you got 4, 5, maybe 6 guys at the top of the tight end rankings that you can count on week to week. After that, I look at it like tight ends like 8 through about 16. If you took all those names and you threw them up in the air, whatever order they land in, you'd be like, yeah, sure.
Cool.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to live that way. And I know there are people who out there, look, Andrew Cooper does a great job studying tight ends, and he does a lot of good research in that kind of stuff. But in the end, I always believe touchdowns are fickle beasts, and I just don't want to live that way. So that's a long way of saying if you're in a league with tight end premium, you probably want to pay up for one, you know? And so that might mean if McBride is still, I don't know if McBride makes it out of the first round or Bowers makes it out of the first round, but you might be talking about a Loveland or a Warren in the second round or something like that. I mean, that might just have to be what it is, but I think the upside is potentially there in a half point tight end premium in your leagues.
Yeah, dude, don't listen. Get a tight end early. Again, echo Charlie Bravo. Get a tight end early, because the last thing you want to be doing, man, is sitting there, man, in round 3, round 4, and seeing 6, 7, 8 tight ends off the board, because it's a sick feeling in a tight end premium league.
Then you're trying to make it work with like Isaiah Likely as your tight end 1. Like that's just it's not a good feeling.
Yeah, for sure. And Chuck Nasty 44. Make sure you give us a follow and a like too, man. For sure, bro. What you got, Nick, Mr. Tight End? What you got?
I mean, I'd probably agree with him. But in terms of like half point, I mean, you could probably get away with a little bit of something. You just got to kind of watch the draft board and find out. At the 4 spot, like, I probably wouldn't grab a McBride or Bowers there at the 4 spot. But I'd probably wait and probably see if a Loveland or Warren does go, like, off the board within that time frame by the time you get that end of the second round pick, and find out what happens. But yeah, you want to get at least one of the 4 guys I would like to have: McBride, Bowers, Loveland, or Warren for sure. So one of those 4, and then if I can get one of those 4 and kind of wait a little bit, I like grabbing Goddard and Andrews, one of those other guys just to slot in if it's like more than if you want to have at least another guy just to have safekeeping for in that format.
Yeah,
have we stopped telling ourselves the lie that tight end is deep? Because we were doing that for a long time, where we would just like be like, no, tight end's deep this year. We'd always like talk about that in August, like tight end is deep this year, and then by like October, we're like, tight end sucks. Like, what are we doing? Like, I feel like we've stopped telling that lie.
Yeah, I'm cool with what's been happening. Like at tight end, like I've ended up with for me, like personally, I've ended up with like a space of like Dalton Kincaid, Travis Kelce, Dalton Kincaid, Tucker Kraft, Dalton Kincaid.
Laporta.
Yeah, Laporta, Kyle Pitts, something like in that space. So like, cause I like, dude, I'm a Caleb Williams lover, like
Same.
On record for it. So like, yeah, so I know you are, man. I know you are, Mr. USC. So like, yeah. But like, I was like, man, listen, I was on it, man. His rookie year, I was on it like last year. So like, I'm all about Colston Loveland. I'm all about the Bears in general, man, for sure. So. Yeah, so we got some fire here. Mr. Maya here, man, who's in my home league, who took the chip 2 years ago. So he'll probably he'll probably that's the only reason why he's here. He's here to hear what I'm talking about, man. We're up in 2 weeks, man, for sure. So yeah. All right, man, we're gonna roll to this segment here. The bench mob, man. This is where we kind of like to identify like sleepers for like whoever our special guest is. So basically the concept of this is one player from each skill position: quarterback, running back, tight end, and wide receiver. with an ADP round 11, 12, or so on and so on. So, with that said, Mr. Marcus, let us know what you got.
All right, so quarterback round 11 or later. Like Matthew Stafford's not quite going that late. Like, 'cause otherwise, like he would have been that guy. So I'm gonna go. Jeez, probably Jordan Love.
Okay.
You know what?
Okay. I like that.
I'm gonna go Jordan Love because I think this is the year they finally kind of put the offense in his hands a little bit more. You know, and I will say this. I kind of gotten on board with Christian Watson. Like I was kind of staying away from Packers wide receivers for a while, but I think I'm in with Christian Watson. But there are enough other guys there that I think, you know, Jordan Love can be really, really productive if you're waiting on quarterbacks. You know, you talked about Tucker Kraft, who I think is actually kind of undervalued. I've seen his value come up. I've seen people start talking about him, but I think if you remember what he did before he got hurt, I think he was really, really. He was balling out. So I think he was a little bit undervalued. So I would say, you know, Tucker Kraft's going to be a big part of this too. So I think Jordan Love is there. But honorable mention is probably Tyler Shuck because I'm
we've been hearing that a lot.
Yeah.
Really intrigued by the Saints offense this year. I think Travis Etienne is going to have a big year. I think they're potentially doing an Alvin Kamara reboot with Travis Etienne in that backfield. So Tyler Shuck's honorable mention there. At running back, 11th round or later.
This is where it always gets nasty right here.
Yeah. So y'all can call me a homer for this.
Oh
boy.
I know David Montgomery's down in Houston, but I'm still gonna give some love to Woody Marks.
Man.
Wow.
The thing that I want the Texans to do that they didn't last year is get Woody Marks involved in the passing game because that was kind of his calling card in college, both at Mississippi State and at USC. He caught the football a ton. You know, I think he had a record, for most consecutive games with a reception, and they just didn't use him like that in Houston. I get it. David Montgomery is going to be the RB1 there. Like I have no illusions about that, but I think we saw enough flashes from Mark. We didn't see consistency, but we saw flashes from Woody Marks that showed that he could actually be something, you know, with that defense, with D'Amico Ryans as the head coach. I think they want to play defense. They want to suffocate you defensively.
Yes, sir.
And then like they want to run the football because like I think we have seen the best of CJ Stroud. I think that rookie year might have been his ceiling. I don't think he's as bad as he's been the last couple of years. Side note, I know y'all saw that video of him walking into training camp. And he looked like a college sophomore showing up for day one of classes, and everybody was like, he has no swag, he has no aura. And I was like, but you know what? The swaggy, aura-filled version of CJ Stroud threw a lot of interceptions, so maybe let's try something different this time around.
Listen, that's the definition of insanity, is trying something over and over and over again. I love it.
Let's try something different. Let's try CJ Stroud with no aura and see what happens. But I do think you're going to see a heavy insistence on the running backs. So I would say that Woody Marks is worth taking the shot at in the later rounds there for running back. Over to wide receiver. It's funny because I think wide receiver fall like you got the guys at the top, and then there's kind of a weird dead zone at wide receiver. And then I think when you get later, there's something interesting. So I got a couple of guys. One's Deshaun Stribling, just because he's there, because he's alive. Like that's it. He's alive. And
he's alive.
He's gonna put on a uniform for the 49ers. So I think there's one. The other one, and again, I'm gonna be sort of a homer about this. And I was on this before what happened over the weekend, but I do think there's an opening for Jacoby Lane. In
goodness
Baltimore.
gracious!
I think there's an opening for Jacoby Lane in Baltimore. Yes, I get it. Zay Flowers is that dude, but in terms of having a guy who can win, who can high point the football, who can win contested catches, I think there's a real big opening for Jacoby Lane right there. And you've seen it in training camp where basically they're just like, we're going to throw it up there. We're going to let him go get it. And more often than not, at least in practices, he's going to get it. He had a touchdown in the preseason game. And the price is right for Jacoby Lane. I mean, you're talking like really last couple rounds, like he's a dart throw with upside. And I have taken that upside on plenty of occasions with Jacoby Lane. So that's one of my wide receivers. At tight end, I'm still on Aronde Gadsden. I know
Okay.
David Njoku. I know David
Okay.
Njoku is there, but we saw Gadsden just be so athletic. And if there's one thing, I mean, there's a lot of things Mike McDaniel does well as an offensive coordinator. But he knows how to use an athletic tight end. He had George Kittle in San Francisco. I talked about what he did with Darren Waller. I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. When they're like, "Oh yeah, the Dolphins have Darren Waller," I was like,
bro, same, dude, same.
You know. And then after a couple of weeks, I had to shut up because he was doing things right. So like credit to Mike McDaniel for making that happen, and I think he can do the same with Gadsden. Yeah, I get it. Njoku's a big, strong, athletic dude. So on the way back from Cleveland after the expo, waiting in line for my flight from Cleveland back to Los Angeles, I look over and there's this dude walking up to the gate. I'm like, I nudge Mike Florian. I'm like, is that Dave? He's like, yeah, that's David Njoku. Like David Njoku was on the flight. You see him, and you see him in person. Like he is an absolute specimen. I mean, he is a unit.
Yeah.
I get it. But I still think there's a lot of something there with Aronde Gadsden. And if we're talking about taking him in round 12, 13, something like that, I'm willing to take the upside. Even if I take like a Tyler Warren, I'll take a swing at Gadsden just in case something pops there. So like I think the price is right. The risk is low for what the potential reward is there for a guy like Aronde Gadsden.
I love it, man. All right, we're moving right along, man. I love this. We're being efficient today here. All right, so this is so funny. Like you hit like a couple of things here. So we got like rapid fire coming up here. We got about 19 minutes. So obviously you've talked about it, Mr. USC yourself. So first question for you: give me your Mount Rushmore of USC Trojan football players.
Ooh, Reggie Bush.
Yes.
Yeah, his highlight tape is absolutely incredible. It's disgusting.
Crazy.
It's just disgusting,
crazy.
And if he played during NIL, like I just wonder what they would have to give him. Like they would have to just put him in a Marvel movie and just like, yeah, you get part of the box office. Like that's what we would have to do with NIL for Reggie Bush. So he's there. I mean, just in terms of on field, we're just talking on field and everything else. OJ Simpson.
Okay. I dig it. I dig it.
So OJ Simpson, Reggie Bush. Oh geez, there's so many guys. And I don't want to just go all offense too, because that's
your world, man. Cheap. It's your world. It's your world.
I'm gonna say Troy Polamalu.
Let's go. I was waiting.
I mean, because like I was trying to because safeties, like I could have gone Ronnie Lott, but I think I'm gonna go Troy Polamalu because like I remember I would sit in the stands when he was playing, and like when the team was driving, somebody around me is always somebody just like, Troy, go get the ball. Go get the ball, Troy. And Troy would somehow get the ball. He would just take the ball away. So Troy Polamalu is one. And I'm gonna throw one up for I might have to put one up for the late great Junior Seau.
Dig that.
Wearing number 55 at USC is a hard thing to do. And of the 55s, Seau might have been the greatest because Willie McGinnis wore 55.
Yep.
There were a few other guys who wear it's one of those things. It's like wearing 88 for the Cowboys, right? Like it's Drew Pearson, Michael Irvin, Des Bryant, CeeDee Lamb. Wearing 55 as a linebacker at USC is a really, really hard thing to do. Junior Seau might have been the greatest to do it and to carry that over not just from college but into the NFL and be that dude for so many years. I'm gonna give it to him. So I got what Reggie, OJ, Troy Polamalu, Junior Seau on my Mount Rushmore.
I was wondering if Troy was going to get there. I was like, you see it back there, man. I was like, if my man don't get to Troy, man, I was like, we're going to have some problems if he don't get to Troy. All right. So these are going to be a little bit quicker. All right.
Okay.
All right. So kind of in the same space you talked about them. Did my homework. I was ready for you today. Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon.
So my hot take before the season, before fantasy draft season, was that Mekhi Lemon was going to be the top scoring rookie wide receiver in fantasy football. I think the situation is better for him, but he can't get healthy. I mean, I need that hamstring to get better a little bit. I think he's just more versatile too, though, than Jacoby Lane. Jacoby's a big body downfield receiver. I think Mekhi Lemon can do a few more things.
All right, cool. Because that was actually the question I originally had was like, where do you find Mekhi Lemon? So I'm glad, man. We're in sync, baby. Michael Pittman or Jordan Addison?
Pittman. I think Pittman's steadier. I don't like the situation. I'm sorry. I just don't. I'm not really big on the Steelers offense.
That's all right. No, that's okay.
I think in terms of just pure talent and wide receivers, I think Pittman's a more complete receiver.
All right. Drake London or Amon-Ra?
Whew. I'm gonna say Amon-Ra. Again, I think he does a little bit more of everything. I think Drake London obviously just a physical specimen. Yeah. I think Amon-Ra does a little bit more. Plus, Amon-Ra just got that killer instinct. I mean, he got that dog. He got that dog. He's the Arya Stark of the NFL, right? He goes to sleep listing off all the receivers that got drafted ahead of him.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that about dog. When I seen that, I was like, I love that guy right there. I love
Except
that
here's
guy.
like because he picked number 14. Because it was he thinks 14, right? But like his girlfriend counted wrong.
Yes, I've seen that.
Which means that there's some wide receiver out there that's catching a stray for no reason.
Oh man. All right. Marshawn Lloyd or Woody Marks?
I actually think it's Marshawn Lloyd. I think he's a really good back. He just obviously hasn't been able to stay healthy in Green Bay. And it was frustrating watching him because like he would rip off run after run after run. And they just wouldn't use him regularly. Somebody told me the other day, I was talking to Sua Cravens, who played at USC, was in the NFL for a minute. And I was asking him about USC this year. And he said, Lincoln Riley pretty much runs the ball just to give his quarterback a couple of plays off. Like he doesn't run the ball because it's effective or they're doing well. He's like, hey, yeah, we ripped off a 30-yard run. Cool. Jaden, throw the ball 5 more times. That's how it works.
Oh, man, I love it. All right, well, this should be pretty straightforward here. Iceman or defending, well, I shouldn't say defending, but Super Bowl champion, Sam Darnold.
Wait, who's my first one again? Who's the
Iceman? Caleb Williams.
Oh, Caleb Williams? Caleb.
Yeah.
Caleb can just do things, man.
Oh, I love him.
I mean, like I like Sam, except like Sam in college would throw 3 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns in the second half, but he would have to because he probably threw 2 or 3 really nasty picks in the first. Like, I would watch Sam in college. The Rose Bowl against Penn State. Had a great comeback, led them from behind, threw a couple touchdowns, but because he threw multiple picks, we were like, what are you looking at in the first half? That and the fact that Saquon Barkley was otherworldly in that game.
Yes, sir.
Saquon Barkley and Mike Gesicki and Chris Godwin, those 3 dudes were insane in the first half, but Darnold brought him back. But no, if you're giving me Caleb versus Darnold, it's Caleb all day.
Yeah, man. I like, I know the USC love, man. So I had to stack something up for you, man, and make it, just kind of see where you were at with that right there. So, yeah. All right, Nick, you got a couple?
Yeah, I do. Segment I got for you is just tiebreakers right now. Overall, when it comes to drafts right now. So, first one I got for you is George Pickens versus Rashee Rice.
Pickens, because
all day, baby.
I'm confident Pickens will be. Pickens is kind of a head case or whatever, a little, but mostly on the field, right? I can't trust Rashee Rice on his own time, on his free time. I need him to have a chaperone outside the building. George Pickens all day on that one.
You got that Dez Bryant treatment.
Yeah, better offense overall for George Pickens.
That part too.
That's more high-octane offense. I had to make that decision a couple of days ago between Pickens and Rice, and we chose Pickens. So, next tiebreaker I got for you is where does your running back tier fall off after, the end of the 3rd round? Guys that I feel the running back tier, there's a big tier off that comes off is literally after Cam Scotabo and Bucky Irving. After those guys, there's a couple more guys I like, but I feel like there's a drop in tier after that in a way.
I think I'm higher on Bucky Irving than most people are.
Okay.
I still believe in the talent, and I think they're going back to an outside zone run scheme, which I think benefits his skill set. So I think I'm higher on him. I would say for me, it's probably after DeAndre Swift.
Okay. Does that include David Montgomery?
I got Montgomery and Swift kind of about the same, but like after him, like I don't trust the Browns. So Quinshon Judkins is kind of sketchy to me. Like Trevion Henderson's there, but like I think we all like Trevion Henderson more than the Patriots like Trevion.
Yes,
Henderson,
yes.
It's that sort of thing. So I think for me it is DeAndre Swift is kind of that cutoff for me.
Okay, I like that. So between the Arizona Cardinal receivers, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Michael Wilson, they're pretty much going like I just did a draft. They're literally going neck to neck in the 7th round.
I'm Michael Wilson all day, but I have been reading a lot of things that might be starting to sway my opinion a little bit. Like, he went from Maserati Marv to like Mazda Marv, but maybe he's moving up. Maybe he can be like Mustang Marv or something like that.
Mustang Marvin.
Like maybe that can happen. But like generally speaking, like just because of what we saw between Jacoby Brissett and Michael Wilson all of last year, plus the price was right. Like if I'm always debating between two guys who I think are going to have equal production, I'm going to take the dude who has the lower ADP. And for the most part, that has kind of been Michael Wilson. But like I said, I've been reading and seeing some things coming out of Arizona that, I'm willing to reconsider my priors right now.
I got him as my wide receiver 5 in one league.
Oh, okay. I was going to say overall, and I was going to be like, what?
I know, right? I'm about to say, man.
Oh, no.
All right. So, Marcus, one thing I know about you is I know, like, you like to get your superhero game on. I know this about you.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to give me, like, a full team. Okay. But if you were the GM of a superhero football team, give me the names of a couple of superheroes you would have playing certain positions.
I would have Spider-Man in the backfield.
Okay.
Just because I mean he's elusive. He's got sticky hands, so he can catch the football for you.
Yeah. Okay.
I know it's gonna sound corny, but I want Captain America at quarterback. Just because I want that leadership, right? I want that leadership in the huddle. I want that leadership in the clubhouse and in the locker room. I think I want that. The offensive line is going to be Hulk, Thanos. We're putting those dudes up front. We're actually, you know what? We're gonna put Thanos on the D line. Thanos is going to be our Aaron Donald, Myles Garrett type.
Okay.
On the defensive line, we'll let him do some work. Black Panther T'Challa we're putting him at wide receiver because you can't see him. You can't see him. You can't check him. You're right. You can't check that dude. So he's gonna be a wide receiver there. I'll flip over to the DC universe, and we're gonna put Flash. We're gonna have him returning kicks and punts.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the specials. The special. Get the specials for the special. I love it.
Yeah. Exactly. We're gonna make him a specialist. We're gonna have him returning kicks and punts. I'm trying to think where else we can go. I think Iceman's our kicker because he's just got ice in his veins. How can you ice? You can't ice a kicker that's already iced. Right?
That's it, baby. That's it.
And then my head coach is gonna be Professor X because
of course
he's gonna because he's going to be in everybody's head. He's going to know what you are thinking across the way. Literally going to know what you're thinking. So
what about defensive back though?
Ooh, who can I get a DB? Probably Daredevil or not. Who do I get? Who do I get at? I just want somebody who can be back there, who can make plays.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he's got long arms, right? He could. That's not bad. That's not bad, actually. I kind of like that. Mr. Fantastic back there. We'll have him swatting passes down for sure.
Well, all right, got a few more, and then obviously got to get you going. All right, so you can just say yes or no. Familiar with Snowfall?
Yes.
Out there on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character and why?
Ooh, I think it's Wanda.
Okay.
Just because of her story arc, right? From where she came from to where she finished, like she was one of the few characters that really had a truly positive story arc and actually like had success at the end. So like you could feel good, like where everything else was going wrong. She cleaned herself up and she got out and she got, and had a positive ending. So yeah, for me, it's Wanda.
Love it. What's the coolest interview you've done?
Ooh. Geez. I've talked to Michael Irvin. You know what? Weirdly, it might be like, geez, that's good. John Hamm was cool. Don Draper was cool.
Yeah.
Cause he's from St. Louis. I asked him about being a football fan. He was like, I don't really have a football team because he's like, when I was growing up in St. Louis, the Cardinals had already left and gone to Arizona, so I didn't really have a football team there. And he's like, by the time I moved to LA, the Rams had left and gone to St. Louis, so he didn't really have one. But he's a big fantasy football guy.
Okay.
So he play funny story. He plays in a league. It's a 12-team league with 13 people, and so what happens is, every year, you plan and you prep and you get ready for the draft, and they do a live draft the night before the season starts, and the 13 people show up and they pull a name out of a hat. And if your name gets pulled, you're kicked out of the league for the year.
I've heard about that. I've heard about those kind of leagues, actually. That's great. Yeah.
But he's a big fantasy football guy.
Love it. What is one person you haven't had the chance to interview that you would love to interview?
Geez. I don't know. Probably outside of football, like I would probably fanboy out over King Griffey Jr.
Bro,
yeah, I would probably just fanboy out talking to Junior because I actually saw him from a distance, and even then I was kind of like, that or Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson.
Okay, dude, I seen this thing. Side note, I seen this thing that's like it was Ken Griffey, and he was talking about how, when he was getting ready to go to college, everybody thought he was going to play football versus baseball. And I was like, what? I was like, that's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah. I don't know if it was AI or what, but like it popped up in my news feed and I was like, what?
But I believe it because like those guys who play at that high level are usually good at multiple sports. And the thing that when you talk to pro athletes, especially like guys of an older generation, they will tell you, play multiple sports. Like they encourage kids to play multiple sports. Now, don't just focus on football or baseball or whatever it is, because it helps. One, it gives your body and your muscles a rest, but it also just kind of helps your skill set overall. It just helps your athleticism.
Yeah. All right. So, who wins the MVP for this season?
I think your MVP this season. You know what? I'm gonna go maybe a little bit off book. I'm gonna say it's Caleb Williams this year. I'm gonna say
let's go.
I'm gonna say Ben Johnson's offense. Ben Johnson said his goal this year is to score the most points ever. And so if he scores the most points ever, that means Caleb Williams is balling. So I'm gonna say Caleb brings it up. He's gonna be the first 4,000-yard passer in Bears history.
I thought it was gonna be last year. It's got to be this year.
Well, I thought it was gonna be last year too, actually, but he came up 58 yards short. Like he almost got there. 58 yards short. The city of Chicago got a Pope before they got a 4,000-yard passer, but I think that ends this year.
Yeah. Oh my God, bro. Man, I love you so much. I do, man. I do. All right. So we always have this one here, man. It's like it's our spiciest take. We call it 4th and 20. So give us your spiciest take of the entire year. Like it can be about a team, it can be about a player, it can be about any situation. Your most spiciest take. Go ahead and give it to us.
My spiciest take this year is going to be the New England Patriots don't make the playoffs.
Woo!
That like the schedule toughens up a little bit. I think in a lot of ways they sort of caught lightning in a bottle. I know Mike Vrabel. Look, man, I mean, Mike going on the road is not gonna be fun for Mike Vrabel this year. I don't know if you heard some things happen. It's not gonna be fun, not gonna be exciting, but the schedule toughens up. I think they caught a little bit of lightning in a bottle, 14-3, stuff. The Bills are going to be good. I mean, the Jets might be better, but I just, you know what? The Patriots, maybe something goes sideways and they don't make the playoffs this year.
Man, okay. All right. I'm digging that. All right, Nick, you got another one loaded before we get out of here, brother?
The last one I had was, I was going to ask earlier, but Ibuka or Devontae Smith right now?
Devontae, just because A.J. Brown's gone. And I trust Jalen Hurts more than I trust Baker Mayfield. I mean, it's just that simple. I trust Jalen Hurts more than I trust Baker Mayfield. So I'm gonna say Devonta Smith over Emeka. And I like Emeka Ibuka. It's close, but I'm taking Devontae over him.
Okay.
Yeah, you caught a little bit of shade in the chat, man, from some of our Patriot fans, but we ain't gonna pay that We ain't gonna pay that no never mind, man.
Shout out to those first graders that had to wait 6 long years to see success, man.
Oh man, listen, man. Me and Nick, we'll probably keep on rolling, man, for sure. But listen, we know you're at time, man. Much appreciation to you, man, for sure, man. Thank you so much for hopping on here with us, for sure. And for those that aren't familiar with your work, go ahead and let the world know real quick before you have to go on, man.
Yeah, you know what? I still have my account on Twitter, Marcus G. I'm not there quite as much. I'm over at Blue Sky, same thing, Marcus G. But NFL Fantasy Live comes back starting this week. We are on live every day, 5 p.m. Eastern, all throughout the season. So you can find me there at NFL Network on NFL Fantasy Live. And if you want to hear me whine about the Dodgers, I actually do a live stream weekday mornings on the ESPN Los Angeles YouTube channel. You can find me on the Blue Review. I know nobody feels bad for the Dodgers because they hit a rough patch, but if you want to hear me whine about them not hitting the ball, you can do that there too.
They're always fun to watch, though, nonetheless, man.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah, they're always fun to watch.
Not lately, but generally, yes.
Yeah. Listen, man. Listen, I ain't worried about it until October, man.
Exactly.
All right, man. Well, listen, again, man, much appreciation, man. Thank you so much for hopping on, man. We appreciate your time for sure. For sure, man. So, right. We'll see you later, brother.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate y'all. Take care.
All right, man. Peace. That's it. All right. Man, that was fire, bro. That was fire. Yeah.
A guy right there.
Yeah, man. Definitely, man. Yeah, no, definitely a lot of fire takes for sure, man. I definitely.
Bears takes. What you did?
No, man. Listen, it just happened. Listen, man. It's not my fault that a team like this right here, prides themselves on tradition and drafting players from a storied tradition like USC, man. You know what I mean? That is what it is, man. For sure. So, yeah, man. What'd you think about this first week of preseason football, man?
I thought it was solid. I mean,
yeah.
I would just say this, the DJ Moore thing kind of caught me a little bit off guard, unfortunately.
Really?
That ankle. So that's something that, just be, this is what I don't like about the preseason. We're probably gonna complain at some point that
guarantee
when all these injuries pile up and everything, we're like, see, we should have had that extra week of preseason.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of it, man.
Last year,
yeah,
kind of keeping our fingers crossed for that. When it comes down to it, but that was the thing that was the most thing that caught me. Overall, the Gary Wilson, my guy out there. Looking pretty nice. I'm not sure if you saw that clip. The club Nick basically just steps up and Gary Wilson basically just monster grabs it in between two defenders.
Hey man, listen. One of the few people on this small rock called planet Earth defending Garrett Wilson is right here, man, in front of you talking. So
that was great. People, I mean, I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? Just not where you're drafting him. Depending on where you're drafting,
that's cool. Listen, man. Hey, listen. The way it's been falling, man. He's been lining up, man, wide receiver 3. Depending if you go hero Bill, he's been lining up at wide receiver 3. And if Garrett Wilson is my wide receiver 3, all right, cool. You know what I mean? That's cool.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we'll have to watch, is when's Aaron Donald coming back officially? You know what I'm saying? Because when's that news officially going to come out? Still waiting on when that's going to happen. If it, because it sounds like it's going to happen. It's just all about when, right?
So
that'll be the thing. But I think the biggest thing I also watched was, I think Jonathan Brooks for Carolina, with Hubbard, having an overall situation that, if Chuba's, remains sidelines, it's he has a hamstring, it's week to week. But if Jonathan Brooks finds himself in a week 1 role without Hubbard, he probably
will.
He's underrated in drafts right now for
sure. Well, he ain't gonna be underrated no more. It's gonna hit the steam. So
look like I got him in the league before the steam up is potentially gonna happen. So
no.
But that was some of the things that I took away overall too. Obviously we talked about Dart earlier with the blue tent thing. The Giants, man, and Jackson Dart,
Yeah. That's what it's gonna be, man. Look, the more it change, the more it stay the same, man. The more it change, the more it stay the same.
What was
For
your take
real.
overall?
No, man. I think like Jackson Dart, like that was a take. Like Stribling, that was another take. Jacoby Lane, that was another take, for sure. Trying to see the Dolphins trying to masquerade everything. Caleb Douglas with the big catch for them. I think like that's some garbage time there. They'll get a lot of work. Those are the things. Obviously, Drew Aller for the Steelers, seeing like what that looked like. I thought that was pretty. It was pretty dope for sure. But obviously now, like week 2, like we should see some starters play. So we see some starters play in week 2, get a few more reps. I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm looking forward to week 2. Obviously, we got draft season coming up next week after. So it should be fun, man. So I got one more guest here. Shameless plug here. We got yeah. We got a shameless plug here for my girl here. Go ahead and let the world know what you got going on.
Alrighty.
Go ahead.
While you guys may inform about the best football stats and the best fantasy football picks, I'm here to inform you that you need one of these fantasy football bracelets. They're so nice and cool. You can represent the show and have some fire drip. I have also more bracelets. I have this one right here. You can just DM my dad and he'll give you all the information and he'll tell you everything.
Yeah, how much you selling them for?
I'm not quite sure, but just ask him because I'll have it all figured out by the end of the show.
All right, there it is, Drip City. If you want to represent the fantasy football show and support a pretty face like this right here, not mine because mine's ugly, but you know what I mean. But mine's ugly. Yeah.
Green, I think that would be just fine, my man.
Yeah, I know it'd be fine for you, man. I know it'd be fine. So
you're wearing it. I'm just saying.
Listen, bro. Listen, I rock it, baby. I rock it. You know what I mean? So yeah, if y'all are interested in any bracelets for your drafts or just to support the show or to support a pretty face like this one right here, not this one. DM me, let me know for sure, and we'll get you hooked up with some bracelets. All right, appreciate that, sweetheart. All right, yeah. Oh, look at that. You already got a buyer. Boom. We already got a buyer right there. Oh, look at that.
Wait, charge him extra. He's a Patriots fan.
Yeah. We'll get you hooked up, man. We'll get you hooked up. Yeah. So no, man, that's again, man, for week 1, that's what I was thinking about. Those are the things that were really not hot takes, but just interesting for me to see. Were those players, those situations for sure. Obviously, talked about Josh Allen, right? Josh Allen looked good. He looked good, man. Early on, again, not a whole lot to take away. What about Tua though, man? That was gross.
And
that did make me scared about Drake London, bro. That made me scared about
even before that.
I was kind of optimistic, man. I was optimistic, but seeing that, that made me nervous right there. That made me really nervous for sure.
Yeah, Mariota too, though. Just in case, if something were, who's gonna back Daniels up? If push comes to shove, the Daniels is hurt too. Oh boy, definitely that too. But
yeah, it's scary hours, man, for sure. It's scary hours out here.
Only the end of week 1.
I know, man. I know, man. So yeah, no, that's all I got, brother. I don't have a whole lot. I don't have a whole lot else, man, for sure. So obviously y'all know the deal. Oh, here we go. We got somebody else popping in the chat here. You missed it, Eli. You missed it. You missed it, Eli. We already talked about it, man. Yeah, man. Your girl, man, she got a Trick Williams auto. Got a picture with him and Cody Rhodes, man. So yeah, we popping out here, man, for sure. Birthday weekend for the girl. My other girl out here selling bracelets. We out here, we out here, man. So, yeah, listen, we're here, man. We're here. It's the heartbeat of things for sure for the season. So, be on the lookout for us. Y'all know the deal. Y'all know the drill. We still got, a few more bangers in the clip, for y'all as far as guests go. So do not go to sleep on us at all, man, because we're gonna still keep bringing the heat for sure, and we can still keep bringing the heat during the regular season. For sure, for my brother Nick Wilcox, for your man Johnny Bain, we about this piece.